You feel your phone buzz. You glance down. It's a message from someone you actually like, and then you see it. That little audio bar. 3 minutes and 47 seconds long. And instead of feeling happy, your stomach quietly drops. A tiny wave of dread. Maybe even a flash of irritation that you feel a little guilty about. Because it's just a voice message. So why does it feel like someone just handed you a chore? If some part of you secretly hates getting voice messages, I need you to hear this. You are not rude. You are not cold. And you are very far from the only one. Millions of people feel a genuine spike of stress the second that little audio bar appears. And it turns out there are real psychological reasons behind it. Reasons that actually say something surprisingly good about how your mind works. Stay with me, because by reason number 4, you're finally going to understand that guilty feeling you get, and why it was never your fault to begin with. Let's start with the one you feel first, even if you've never put it into words. When someone sends you a voice message, they take away your control over time. Think about how you read a text. Your eyes fly across it, you skim, you jump to the end. You grab the important part in about 3 seconds and move on. You are in complete control of the pace. But a voice message? A voice message locks you into their speed. You cannot skim a voice. You have to sit there and travel through it, second by second, in real time, at exactly the tempo they chose. And here's the part most people don't realize. The average person reads several times faster than they can listen. So when you're forced to listen instead of read, your brain feels the drag. It knows it could have absorbed this in a fraction of the time. That flash of frustration isn't laziness. It's your brain noticing its time is being spent inefficiently and quietly protesting. Which leads straight into the second reason. And this one is even more maddening once you notice it. With a voice message, you can't skim, you can't search, and you can't reread. A text is what psychologists would call random access. Everything is there, all at once, and you can jump to any part instantly. Need the address again? Your eyes find it in a second. But a voice note is a sealed tape. The information is trapped inside a timeline. So when your friend buries the one detail you actually need, the time you're supposed to meet, somewhere inside a 4-minute ramble, you're stuck dragging that little slider back and forth, guessing, replaying, missing it, trying again. Your brain is built to find and retrieve information efficiently, and a voice message takes that ability away completely. It hides the answer inside a wall of sound. Now, the third reason is the one nobody likes to say out loud, because it feels a little uncomfortable. A voice message quietly transfers the effort from the sender to you. Think about what's actually happening. Recording a voice note is incredibly easy for the person sending it. They just talk. No organizing, no editing, no thinking about how to phrase it. They offload their unfiltered stream of thoughts straight onto you. And now you are the one who has to do all the work. You have to listen, decode, untangle the tangents, and pull the actual meaning out of it. In other words, they saved their time by spending yours. And you are not imagining that imbalance. It's real. Some part of you registers that the effort was silently handed to you without your permission. And it doesn't feel quite fair. And that brings us to reason number 4, the one that explains the guilt. Because here's what a voice message really does. It puts you on the spot, and it strips away your control over how you respond. A text is patient. You can read it now, think, and reply when you're ready. You can draft it, delete it, and get the wording exactly right. A voice message demands the opposite. To even receive it properly, you might need headphones, a quiet room, or a moment of privacy, and you need it right now. It doesn't fit into a meeting. It doesn't fit on a crowded bus. It ambushes you. But here is the twist, and this is the part that's been quietly making you feel bad about yourself. Because the person's voice sounds warm and personal and kind, ignoring the message feels like rejecting them. So when you feel that flicker of irritation, your brain does something cruel. It tells you that you're being ungrateful, that you're a bad friend for being annoyed at such a personal gesture. But listen closely, because this matters. You were never annoyed at them. You were annoyed at losing control. You were reacting to the format, not the person. And once you understand that, the guilt has nowhere left to stand. The fifth reason runs deeper, and it's especially true for some of us more than others. For many people, voice is simply more intense than text. A voice carries tone, breath, emotion, mood. It's high bandwidth, and it's intimate. It pulls you close whether you're ready for it or not. And if you're someone who processes the world carefully, someone who likes a little space to manage their own reactions, that sudden intimacy can feel like a lot. And there's a second layer. Sending a voice message means hearing your own recorded voice, with no edit button and no undo. For a self-aware mind, that's its own quiet little stress. So if you've ever felt that voice notes cost you more energy than they seem to cost everyone else, you're right. They probably do. So let's pull all of this together, because when you do, something shifts. Underneath every single one of these reasons is the same thread. Control, efficiency, clarity, the respect of your own time and attention. And here's the reframe I really want you to hear. Your dislike of voice messages was never pettiness, and it was never you being difficult. It's the fingerprint of a mind that values its time, that craves clarity over clutter, and that actually thinks about other people when it communicates. Because notice, when you message someone, you probably send a text, something they can read on their own time, in their own way, without being cornered. In other words, the very thing you appreciate, you tend to give to others. What looks like a simple pet peeve is really a deep preference for efficiency, for control, and for respecting everyone's time, including your own. That's not a flaw. That's consideration. So what do you actually do about it? Here are 3 simple shifts. First, name it instead of shaming yourself for it. The next time that dread hits, just quietly tell yourself, this isn't rudeness. This is how my brain prefers to take in information. That one sentence dissolves the guilt instantly. Second, set the boundary, kindly. You are completely allowed to say, I love hearing from you, but I honestly take things in better when they're typed. Would you mind sending the important stuff as text? Most people won't be offended. Most people will be relieved. And third, use the tools. Speed the playback up to 1.5 or 2 times. Use automatic transcription so you can read it instead. You don't have to hate the format forever. You just get to meet it on your own terms. So the next time your phone buzzes and you see that little audio bar sitting there, 3, 4, 5 minutes long, and you feel that familiar flicker of dread, I want you to remember this. You're not cold. You're not ungrateful. You're not broken. You just have a mind that values clarity, protects its time, and quietly extends that same respect to everyone around you. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now I'm genuinely curious. So tell me in the comments, what is the longest voice message anyone has ever sent you? And be honest, do you secretly speed them up? I promise you're about to see just how many people feel the exact same way. And if this made you feel a little less alone, do me a favor and share it with that one friend who always sends the 5-minute voice notes. Lovingly, of course. Thank you for being here, all the way to the end. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.